Hey guys, it's Raven and we're back with another video. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're not, welcome back. So today we're doing a quilt tote bag tutorial where I'll teach you guys how to make a quilt tote bag like this one. So the tote bag I have here is a little bit on the longer side, longer and narrow, but of course you can change any measurements according to your own preference if you like different sizes. Today we're going to be making this lemon one here. So the bag consists of very strong canvas material inside, as well as the fabric and lining. So it also has lace at the top, a brand logo. That's pretty much what we're gonna do today, and I would recommend this for advanced beginners because you need a sewing machine, and I would say this is somewhat simple yet not that simple. I just want to preface that I'm not an expert sewist and I made this bag on my own, free-handed, and did make a few mistakes here and there, so hope that you guys will forgive me for that. And yeah, let's get to the materials and then the process. For the materials, you need your sewing machine. Any sewing machine will do, as well as your fabric. Here I have the materials for the straps, the fabric, and then the sturdy canvas lining inside. I have the fabric, canvas lining for the bag, and then the lining that's going to be inside of the bag. This is optional, but you can also get yourself some lace to add at the border or edge of the bag, as well as your brand tag if you have one for a little business. You also need some scissors, and yeah, let's get started. So first, grab your sturdy fabric and then place your main fabric on top of it. So here I have a visual guide you can use in terms of the directions and how to sew the quilting design on your fabric. Start by sewing along the black lines to secure the fabric together, and then sew along the blue lines in one direction and then the red lines in the other. I also included some tips, so please screenshot this section if you need to refer back to it later. And of course, you can also adjust the number of squares by increasing or decreasing the number of lines on the panel. After making your first line down from one of the corners, I measured 5 cm away from the first line I made, and then once I got the rough placement of the next stitch, I just go ahead and start sewing. But if you want, you can use a water-soluble pencil to mark the lines before sewing so that it would come out cleaner. Otherwise, you can kind of just wing it like I did. So once you are done doing the crisscross effect on your piece with your fabric and the lining in the bag, gonna get our lining, our inner lining. So mine is double-sided, but face the good sides of both the fabric and your lining, inner lining. So good sides facing each other, lay it on top. And then we're gonna sew one line across to the end, and then that will create the little lining at the top something like a little border here. Yeah. Flip the lining inside out and you should have something like this. Yeah, so now we're gonna add on the lace. So we're gonna place our lace like this. You're gonna leave a little bit of extra at the end here, and then we're gonna sew along this line here, but on top of the lace. Really depends on what kind of lace you're using, depends on what design you have and all, but I'm gonna go with sewing across this line, and then on the other end also leave a little bit of extra before sewing on. For reference, I cut mine about 34 inches long, so with extra 2 inches at the side. So right now you should have something like this with the lace on the top and your lining inside like this. So right now we are going to flip it back out like this. Oops. Then flip it in half. Okay. So now we are going to close off the main fabric. We're gonna start sewing from here to the edge here, and then down here, and then onto the lining, and we're gonna leave this lining here, this opening, we're gonna leave it open and sew down this L shape here. But it will get a little bit tricky over here, as if you just sew right over, it's gonna cause a little bit of a mess on the other side. So when you're sewing around this area, right, you need to be very careful not to sew over the lining over here. I'll give you guys a more detailed explanation in a bit. So right now you just finished sewing this area, and now we're gonna continue sewing on the lining, but do not sew over the edge. Like, you see this hard thing here? Do not sew over this, as it will create this effect later and it's not what we want. So we're gonna sew from here, from this thing, from here on all the way down to the middle, and if there's a hole later, we will hand sew that. And also cut away your excess fabric from the lace here so it doesn't cause any unnecessary bumps. So we're gonna continue to sew down here, and then we're gonna flip the bag inside out. So now with our piece like this, we're gonna flip it inside out with the opening over here. So your base is almost done, but if you would like the box corners, do not close your lining yet. So here, you're just gonna push your lining down a little bit. And then your back base is like this, right? Grab the sides and create this little triangle here. So based on how big you want your box corner to be, for example, I want mine to be about this length, this much. So just grab yourself a ruler. For me, I did mine about 8 cm. So in other words, the triangle here, let me show you guys this way, do that 8 cm across like this, sew a line on both sides. Yeah. And now you should have something like these triangles here. Now we're going to glue down. So you apply some glue on the triangle to keep it down, and then press it down and let it dry for about as long as your glue needs to dry. I'll be using my all-purpose adhesive glue, and I'll meet you guys right after we glue it down. In the meantime, while waiting for the glue to dry, we will work on the straps. So you should have 2 strips of the fabric and then 2 strips of the lining. So to get started, right, we're going to grab our fabric, good sides facing each other, fold it in half, and then sew along all the way down to the end with about 1 cm seam allowance for both of the straps. So with both our fabrics done here, we are gonna get ourselves a safety pin, attach it to one end of the strap like so, clip it, and then we're gonna flip it inside out. So safety pin goes in, push the safety pin all the way until it's out. But let me just show you guys how it will look like. So the safety pin is here right now, and just keep using it to bring it outside to the other end. Ta-da! It's on the other end now. I'm just gonna gently pull on the fabric. Just keep pulling and pulling, and it's out. I'm gonna repeat this for the other strap, and I'll be right back. And now with both our straps flipped inside out, we'll get our inner lining, pin the top part. and push this to the strap like this. So, and once you push it to the end for both sides, I'll meet you guys there. Now that we're done with both our straps with the lining inside, we can go ahead and close them off. It's totally optional if you want to sew along the straps to make it more secure, like the lining inside won't move. You could do so by turning the cloth around with the line in the middle and then use that as a guideline for yourself. But I prefer the cleaner look, so I'm gonna close off both ends of the strap instead. And to do so, with the raw edges at the top, fold in once and then fold in twice. Then just gonna hide the edges inside and then sew one line along here. Yeah, and then repeat on all ends of the straps. Now we have our straps done. So do remember to cut off any extra strings at the side. And you should have done both of them on the same side. So like this should be one strap, it should be like this, right? So you have two now. And the glue should have dried by now. Okay, so now we're gonna finish up our bag. The base lining is done. We'll pull up our inner lining, the nice looking one. Going to grab it together. You can push the hard lining inside a little bit more so you have more space to work with. Grab it like this, flip it inwards about 1 to 2 cm, and then clip it, sew it down, and then we will create the box corner for this fabric as well. So now that we're done with sewing the bottom of the inner lining, we're going to create the box corner of the bag now for the inner lining. So instead of doing the little triangle trick we did just now, we're gonna flip it inside, so basically creating the triangle but on the inside. Like so. This might be a little bit tricky, but as long as you have like a triangle shape on the inside, you need to match this measurement with the same measurement you took just now for your box corner of the sturdy lining. So once you've got your measurement right, for me it's 8 cm across, sew along this line for both sides and we are pretty much done with the base. So now that we have finished doing our box corners for our inner lining and our outer fabric, we are now gonna fix this problem. And once again, I'm so sorry that there's this issue with my tutorial. I still haven't figured out a way to avoid this issue. If you have any advice, do feel free to give feedback inside the comment section. And yeah, I think I made a mistake by cutting off too much of the fabric at the top. I realized that I can't hide this tear properly unless I use another fabric, so I got a little piece of the lining. I sewed down the sides so there's no more frayed ends. I'm going to hand sew it on top it like this to cover it up. So you can either do that, or if you figure out something, please do let me know in the comment section. I'll really appreciate it. And if I do find a solution to this problem, I will leave it in the description box below. Yeah, but I'm gonna get to hand sewing this area like this, and then our base should be done and good to go. To fix the problem over here with another cloth outside. It looks alright, not the best, but I can deal with it. Final review, we are going to flip our bag inside out. So this is what we have. Da! Let me flatten it a little bit. It looks like this. I realize it's quite long. It's a bit long. Oh! It's a bit longer than I expected. But I think that's fine. I think it's supposed to be a little bit wider, but I didn't cut my cloth very well, so it ended up a little bit narrower than expected. The flap facing inside, and then you can gauge where you want your straps to be sitting, how far apart, and how long you want your straps to be as well. So if you find that your straps are a little bit too long after attaching it, we are using about 6 to 7 cm over here. If you feel like your straps are a bit too long, you can also like pull it down. I prefer that the straps are on the outside of the bag. I feel like it gives a little bit, it adds a little bit of a detail to the bag, so I'm gonna go with that. I'm going to do 6 cm this time. So here, how to start, right? I'm gonna use my Apple bag as an example. So we're gonna start by sewing the top first. So the top, the side, down here, and then the side again. And then do a crisscross diagonally to the other point, cross below here, and then do another crisscross to get this design or effect. And we're gonna do that 4 times across all the straps. And make sure that your straps are of the same length, otherwise one would be longer than the other. And yeah, let's get to sewing. So now that our bag is done, you can go ahead and add any pockets or any design you would like to add on the outside. If you would like, you could also have added the pocket before we close up the bag. However, because the tote bag, because we're gonna sew the sides and stuff, it might be a little bit off, so it really depends on you. Previously when I sewed my brand tag to the bag, it was a little bit off, so this time I'm gonna do it after I've completed the bag. Yeah, so I'm gonna sew this on and we're done. Ta-da! And with that, you have made your very own quilted tote bag. I do admit I did make a few mistakes in the tutorial, such that the bag is a little bit narrower than expected, but I think it still turned out pretty good. I really like that it's very sturdy and yeah, it's able to hold a lot of things. The lining inside is also pretty nice. Except from the fact that I had to fix this area. And if you guys do make your own bag from my tutorial, I would really appreciate if you could tag me or credit me in your Instagram posts or wherever you share it on social media. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and definitely in the future, when I improve the pattern and find a solution for my mistakes, I will re-upload a new tutorial. And of course, if you guys have any solutions you'd like to suggest, please feel free to comment down in the comment section below. I do sewing, crochet, market, craft content. If you're interested to subscribe, leave a like and a comment if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!